What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's show. This is the You Can't Comp This NBA Trading Card Podcast. I am your host, Russell Gibson, and I am here with Øyvind Holen. Øyvind, how are you tonight, mate?
Doing well, Russ. Thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really, really good. I've had a very pleasant, chilled out weekend. We had our wedding anniversary. Actually, technically, It's this week, but we celebrated on Saturday night, and it was just, 9 years of wedded bliss. I'm sure my wife will back me up on that one.
I'm sure she would. Well, congratulations.
Thanks, man. It's been a while since you've been on the podcast. Tell us what you've been up to since the last time you came on, and then you want to talk to us about this amazing set that you've dug up, and I want to hear all of your perspective on it.
I don't know. Was it 6 months or so, maybe, since I was last on? Something like that.
Maybe longer, yeah.
Maybe, yeah, it could be longer. Yeah. Not too much has happened. Just chugging along with some set collecting as per usual. Nothing too exciting or high end. I'm waiting on a 2018-19 Noir Miles Turner autograph for a set. It's nice. Just missing a couple now to complete that set. That'll be good if I can find the last few. Yeah. Otherwise, not much news, but happy to talk some cards and some current events with you.
Yeah. No, I think just for people at home who didn't hear the last episode with Øyvind, you are massively into set collecting, and I think we'll just talk about the benefits of doing that and some of the crazy sets you've collected. So why don't you tell us about your top one or two sets that you've done?
Yeah, last time we spoke about the 2015-16 Prism light blue set that I did. They're numbered to 199, and I did the 1 to 300 of those, a 300 card set. That was great to finish. Otherwise, I really enjoyed.
What year was that?
15-16.
15-16. Okay, yeah, cool.
And I remember at the time when they released it, it was Cat's rookie year. No one had heard of Jokic, although he was in there. There were talks about Cat rookie golds going for $1,000, and I remember that was big news at the time. Yeah. Maybe like a card could go that high, which seems odd now. But also shortly after it had released, the year after or so, hobby boxes were selling for $50, something like this, for a Prism hobby. So yeah, it takes me back.
Imagine if you had a time machine, right?
Yeah, have a few cases of that sitting. That would be nice.
All right, talk to us about this set that you've uncovered, because I think this is a really cool NBA story. Whether you dig it or not, I think some people are going to hate this, and I think some people are going to love it, and I think some people are going to make a boatload of money out of it. So let's talk about this.
Potentially. I love it and I hate it. We'll maybe get to why.
That's fine. And
I think to start off with, just looking at the card, it's pretty cool. It's a nice card. It's a nice design, kind of simple, slightly cartoonish look. The player's head is oversized. And then there's an auto printed, sort of like a facsimile thing. If you zoom in, you can see the auto. But it's not real or anything. But the release was from All Pro Deal, I think it was called. And they released essentially a deck of cards. One in 2004, one in 2006. So like playing cards. So each
playing
player.
Cards. And I think that's the big thing you need to emphasize as part of this conversation too. Yeah.
Yeah. So they were playing cards. So Kobe was what? I can't see. Yeah. Ace, 8 diamond. That was it. And every player was a different playing card. So 52 or so. I don't know if they were jokers or anything. But they were sold in sealed boxes, and you would get every player in the box. It was not like anything rare. You couldn't open it and get
nothing was random.
No, nothing random at all.
It's all printed,
all printed. But they look pretty nice. So like 2 weeks ago, suddenly on my eBay store, I had a few of these, not the Kobe ones, but just some random players. I had a handful, and within 24 hours, they were all sold to different people.
Can I just interrupt you there? But why in the first place did you even have them listed on your eBay?
I like them. I bought them a year or two ago, and it's like, oh, these look pretty cool. I reckon people will like them.
Did you buy them as singles, or did you buy it as a set?
Yeah.
Yeah, really?
Just picked up singles, yeah. I thought they looked nice, and I still do. And I figured if someone's collecting that player, I can't remember who I had like D Wade and Shaq or whatever, they'd want that at some point. And these were $2, $3, $5 cards, nothing very expensive. So yeah, within 24 hours, they'd all sold. I had people messaging me about them, asking, "Oh, do you have more of these? Any more that you haven't listed?" I thought that's weird. Something must have happened with these cards for people to be buying them all of a sudden, all at the same time.
Yeah.
So I posted on a few of the trading card groups in Australia and asked if anyone knew what was up. And a couple of people, Joel Richardson and Fadi Andari, they both pointed out that there was this breaker, or Burton breaks, I think they were called, which I'd never heard of. They had posted a video saying that these cards were going to be the next big thing. And they have more than 40,000 followers. And at least some of those followers were like, yep, on eBay I go. And they bid them up and bought some.
Yep.
So these Kobe's sold for initially $340 and then $610. And these are cards that a year ago, pretty much exactly a year ago, sold for $20. So this is an insane jump. And if these people on Facebook are right, the Burton Breaks had stacks of these, PSA 10s, maybe ready to sell in sort of classic pump and dump, which seems to, that story, we've seen that before. That's the one.
Yep.
I can see prices already dropping. One sold afterwards for $140, and there's now PSA 10 versions on eBay for $200. That's still way, way higher than they were.
Yep.
But they're not staying at that $600 price because I think there's heaps of these cards around. And so, that part I don't love. The pump and dump. You can see it on the feed there. They were talking them up, and just trying to cash out, I guess.
Yeah, so let's just sort of step through this piece by piece. I think my part of this is that it's not a true trading card, and that reduces my interest in it almost immediately. The second part about it being a pump and dump, I'm not saying that this guy's not that famous, but I don't think he has the cachet of, say, a Ken Golden or a Mr. Wonderful or anything like that. Like, he's a cool influencer, and I think he's uncovered something that is interesting, but whether he could shift the market that much, I'm a little bit unconvinced on that. Was he ahead of the curve, and was he pre-prepared and sent all of his cards in? Yeah, 100% he did. And it also seems to me that he's committed to this cause either way, because he's in that video, he talks about sending even more cards in to get graded. So I think that's all totally fine. Where I'm super, and this is one of the questions I want to ask you about this, is that because apparently there's Chinese knockoffs. So how do you tell the difference between the real ones and the Chinese knockoffs? Because, like, in my mind, there's so much stuff made in China, even like the real ones are probably made in China, but maybe there's like real ones made in China, and then there's, I'm using air quotes right now, the fake ones that are made in China. Because I've got a deck of these in my cupboard at home, and I remember paying, I reckon $10 would be like about what I would feel happy paying for something like that. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to bother sending mine into PSA because I've played cards with them. Like, I've bent them and rolled them. And so there's no way mine are going to be mint. I think, the last thing to talk about here is pop count, because say what you want about Top, say what you want about Panini, and we know how much crap they print, and they printed out the wazoo. Can you imagine how many of these decks of cards are being printed when they've got no constraints?
Yeah, I'd imagine a lot. I don't know. I haven't looked at pop counts.
Allegedly, there's fake ones out there too. So, imagine what they're going through with that. So I would say, be really careful with paying top dollar for these, because particularly in this early sort of gold rush phase, because you just don't know what the pop count's going to settle out. And
I think 100%. I totally agree with you. Don't. I'm not suggesting people go out and buy these. Definitely be very.
No. Sorry if I implied
no.
that you were.
I'm just agreeing with you. Like, just to make it clear, like, people should probably stay away. And they're nice if they fall in price. Sure, pick one up. Just on your Chinese knockoff thing, I have seen those on eBay. I'm pretty sure, and I knew because I think there was literally Chinese symbols on them, which suggests to me they're not sort of trying to be fake. They were maybe just a product printed in China for the Chinese market. So I don't know if there are other knockoffs as well, but I definitely have seen those Chinese ones, and they seemed legitimate in a way.
But are they lesser collectible than these ones that we're seeing on the screen?
Yeah. I think these are the ones now that people are hyped about. Yeah.
Anyway, look, really cool story, man. And as usual, you're all over it hobby-wise. So yeah, super cool pickup. Did you want to talk about anything else before we?
No, that's it. Thanks to the people who jumped in on the Facebook groups and pointed me in the right direction. I had not heard of this guy and I didn't know what was happening. So it's good. It's always good to get someone to help, and the Facebook groups are great for that.
100%. Unrelated, but somewhat related. Are you finding more success with NCM or NBA card addicts at the moment?
In terms of getting help, I'm pretty random where I kind of ask. I don't really have a go-to. A lot of the same people are on the same pages. So yeah, I don't really know if there's a go-to.
No, that's fine. I just feel at the moment NCM's a little bit slower.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like addicts at the moment it's just on fire.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I think it's a bigger group now, I think.
Thank you to Neon Trading Cards for your ongoing support. Head over to neontradingcards.com where you'll find a huge array of breaks: soccer, NBA, MLB, F1, AFL, NRL, WWE, and Marvel. Find Neon Trading Cards on Whatnot. Neon is the exclusive home of the Lucky Card Co. Repack products, Australia's leading multi-sport repack company. Neon is also a Topps and Fanatics direct breaking partner. Now, a little bit of personal news for myself, but also for Neon. Neon have re-upped for a further 6 months. So guys, you have no idea how much this means to me for this partnership to be ongoing. So guys, thank you for your ongoing support. It's just absolutely fantastic. Releases from Topps. Heaps is going on at the moment. WWE Cosmic, Platinum Baseball, Signature Class NFL, Baseball Series 2, Merlin EPL, Knockout UFC, Inception Baseball, Chrome Disney, Cactus Jack Basketball, and heaps more. Cases will be ripped via the website and the 2 Whatnot channels. And just a reminder, if you've forgotten, the main Whatnot channel is Neon Trading Cards, and Neon now have a second channel, Neon Trading Cards Plus, which is soccer, MLB, F1, AFL, NRL, WWE, UFC, and Marvel. Get in, get ripping, and don't miss out. Neon is where the action is. And now back to our show with Øyvind. Let's move on. The next card we have to talk about is this recent sale of the Wemby Black 1 of 1 PSA 10. It sold for a huge amount, $5.1 million in a private sale, which I think is an interesting setting. So obviously they didn't want it to go to auction. Potentially they thought it was going to go for more than 5.1, which I find very surprising. I actually would have thought it would have sold for less than 5.1 at auction, but that's just me. Obviously they really want to get this deal done. So congratulations to the buyer.
Yeah, it's a nice deal.
Yeah, I think if you're the seller, that's a very nice deal. I'll let you have the opening take on this because I'm really keen to hear your thoughts.
Well, if you're the seller, great deal. If you're the buyer, well, you have enough money that, well done to you. Yeah. Like both are winners at this point.
Yeah, we're happy that you're succeeding in life, right? We're not bitter over here at all.
No, not at all. Yeah. Not salty, no. I guess the first thing to say is Prism is king. Yeah. I know it's no longer Prism and it's Chrome and Topps, but
Topps, Chrome, and Prism's the same thing, man. Come on.
Yeah. It's the equivalent, the Chrome equivalent, Superfractor equivalent. It is king, and that's what people want. And additionally, 2023, Wemby didn't have licensed rookie autos or anything like that. So there was a kind of a limit on, the really top high-end cards for his rookie season. He had autos that were unlicensed, and they sell really well as well. But there wasn't the autograph logo man or anything like that. Speaking
of that, and a complete segue, and I haven't done any prep for this, but Shine recently posted about all the Wemby cards that he owns, and they're virtually all the logo man from NT and Flawless. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Why am I not surprised?
Sitting on a stack of those.
Yeah. Shine is,
The previous Wemby record was $860,000. So that's a pretty nice jump.
Yep.
I think that was it. The Nebula. That was the Nebula Prism, I think. But that's a while ago. It's still $860K to $5 million. That is, that is serious money.
Yeah. What's changed in that time since these last 2 sales have happened? I think the Spurs have had an insane amount of success, and we can talk about today's game now. I think it's the perfect time to, because I think unless you're Bill Simmons, who's probably been on the belief that the Spurs time is now to contend, my gut feeling was they were kind of like 1 year or maybe 2 years away. And so I'm completely wrong about that. And I loved today's game. Like, I loved watching the game. It was a really high school game, and SGA was amazing today. I know he gets a lot of crap for flopping and all the rest of it.
Was very good.
He played an amazing game, and I think it's really unfortunate that Jalen Williams wasn't there today because they really missed him. That was the thing that I really took away from this. They just seemed a little bit toothless at times.
They did miss him, and they missed AJ Mitchell as well. Just another ball handler, creator. It was just SGA by himself. It felt like today, and Case and Wallace, with some incredible 3-point shots, but there wasn't much else.
Dort struggled. Chet struggled.
Chet was awful. Really not good. And I'm a Spurs fan, so I was very happy with the game. Luke Cornett's block was an absolute classic moment in that fourth quarter towards the end there. Maybe not quite at the level of the LeBron chase down block, but it was great. It was really fun.
For white guys, that's like the equivalent, really, isn't it?
Absolutely. If you're a white guy, that's it. Hopefully,
that goes into the Hall of Fame straight away. Yeah.
A few more Luke Cornett collectors after this game, I reckon. He only played like 6 minutes or something, didn't he?
Really?
I think he was hardly on there. I might be.
Felt like he was out there a lot more than that, to be honest.
Yeah, he was undrafted. Bounced around. He was, I think, almost given up, and then now he's on 4-year, $40 million contract with the Spurs.
Yeah. Tidy amount of money, isn't it? Really?
It's nice, isn't it?
You're right, man. You're 100% right. 6 minutes.
Yeah. And for the Spurs as well, it's a pretty good deal. And that last year is a team option. So when if they need to
they'll
move
pick
him
that
on.
up.
Oh yeah, he's 30 now though. So but yeah, he should be all right for 4 years, 3 more years.
All right.
Just on SGA. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, sure. Go. No, go. Yeah.
There was so much talk about the refs and his foul baiting and all of that stuff. And he played a real good game today. I don't really blame him for the way he plays. I think when you're that good and that high level of an athlete, you're going to do what gets you wins. If it gets you free throws, you're going to do that. And it's up to the league and the refs to, if they want to change it, then they have to change it, not SGA. I don't think he's going to do it.
It's super weird though, isn't it? Because remember when Harden did this constantly and they literally changed the rules to stop him from doing it, right? But then somehow it's like crept back in with SGA.
Yeah.
I found that super weird because why did they let that happen?
I don't know. I was thinking about Harden today as well because he's the one, he annoyed me a lot more than SGA does. Harden, I just hated him when he was at his peak with the Rockets. He would literally grab the defender's arm and hook it and then shoot. And he would get free throws. It was the worst thing. Oh, I hated it so much. Yeah, SGA is getting up there, but a couple of the fouls during the playoffs, that shooting motion where you're meant to have a natural shooting motion if you're jumping into the defender or have an unnatural shooting motion. That was one of the rules they changed with Harden to try and get rid of that. And it's back. Yes, it is weird.
I thought the refereeing today was actually quite interesting because there was a lot of contact that they didn't call. And actually, I thought there was a few plays today that could have been fouls on Wemby, but they let the contact go. I actually thought that was really good refereeing because the last thing you want is Wemby on the bench with 4 or 5 fouls. You actually want to see the best players out there. So they, in a sense, I felt like they let them play today, which I really liked. And I don't really feel like SGA was throwing himself all over the floor today and all over the court. Pretty good. But yeah, I'd love to see them stamp that stuff out. It's just, it's crap. I hate it. Let's go back to Wemby though. So what we were talking about was the sale of $860,000 in 2025. And I was just saying that for me, the things that have changed since that time is we've seen the team success, we've seen the personal success. The big thing for me that is holding or was holding Wemby back was the injury history. And now that we've had that 1.5, 2 years of him basically being playing for, the majority of the time, he has had some injuries along the way, but I feel like those injury concerns are gone now and people are a little bit more confident to put some money into him. I still think we could be in a bubble at the moment, so I don't think that he's a guaranteed asset or anything like that. However, I think this is the perfect example of what we've seen now. Basically, it's a very similar card. I think the black is obviously better. It's PSA 10. The Nebula is not as a desired 1 of 1 and it's PSA 9, but at the same time, that's a very big difference in price. And I actually wonder if the Nebula went back to sale today, would it fetch 3.5 million? That would be my gut feeling. Yeah,
sounds about right. Yeah, 3 million maybe. Be my guess.
Thank you to US Sports Cards Australia for your ongoing love and support. Big update from US Sports Cards Australia and Comca. US Sports Cards Australia is currently transitioning to their new platform, ComCA. During this move, they have temporarily paused new submissions on the US Sports Cards Australia website while they merge products to the new system with numbers well over 50,000. And from me to you, Ross, congratulations on 50k, mate. I know how much work you've put into this. If you are keen to start listing your cards on Comca, reach out to the team via Instagram, and that is comca.tradingcards on Instagram. It's got a white background and blue logo lettering. Make sure to mention you're a You Can't Comp This listener. ComCA are continuing to look after the community. Special offer. Your first 100 cards will be scanned and uploaded for free as a You Can't Comp This listener. Continue to check in with comca.com.au, and thank you so much to Team US Sports Cards Australia and Comca. Let's get back talking Wemby with Øyvind.
Yeah, the injury concerns, that's a good point. They can definitely still stop him. Like, they can stop Wemby. I don't know who else is going to stop him realistically.
Yeah.
They have a very good chance of winning this year, and I agree with you. I thought they were a couple of years away. They needed a better forward. Their young guards have really stepped it up as well. I think they maybe have a 60 to 70% chance of winning this year. I think they'd be a big mistake for them to go into the Knicks game and think that they've won it. I think the Knicks could surprise them a little bit.
I think the Knicks are built for the playoffs, man. They're very, very versatile defensively. They don't rely on fast break points to get their offense. They can kind of just like grind it out. In a weird way, I actually think they're both analytically built teams. I think the Spurs are like, and have been for the last 20 years, ahead of the curve when it comes to analytics. The use of floor spacing and shooting, and particularly shooting from big men. Like the Spurs basically created that. And I actually think if you analyze or you look at the Knicks lineup, Karl Anthony Towns at center is exactly what that is. It's floor spacing, it's shooting, and it opens everything else up for mismatches, which I actually think Bridges is going to be a really interesting and difficult matchup for the Spurs. Like who's going to be able to cover him? Because they sort of run like flex action sometimes for him, and I think he'll do really well out of that.
He definitely could. I think the Knicks could struggle on offense. Like if you're relying on Bridges and Hart to make shots,
that is true. They grind out sometimes.
A problem. Yeah,
true.
And the Spurs defense is pretty good. I mean, obviously you got Wemby at the back there, but their front line is pretty physical and big. So it'll be really interesting. I'm looking forward to that series.
I hope it's a good series, but my gut feeling is we've just seen the NBA Finals, which was like the Spurs and Thunder, and we've seen that before in history.
I almost feel like no matter what happens in the finals, like this was the finals.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not too many of the games with the Thunder and the Spurs were close. It was certainly exciting, and there were moments and drama, but there wasn't those really tightly contested games at the end.
Yeah, you're right. I think my feeling was watching those games, there was just how much skill was on display. For me, that's when you see a really good playoff game when they're playing their hardest and it's at that sort of top skill level. You just can't beat NBA basketball. Hey, let's play a game. And the game is, I've got $5 million to spend. Would I buy the Wemby Black 1 of 1, or would I buy the card that I'm about to yell out now? So some of these, it's not going to age very well because of the time, but we've got this one here, the LeBron James RPA from Exquisite. You have the LeBron?
LeBron.
Yeah.
It's just the safe bet at this point.
No, that's totally, I agree. 2013 Chrome Super Refractor 1 of 1 Aaron Judge autograph BGS 9.5.
I'd go for the Wemby.
5.2 million. Yeah.
I'd go for the Wemby just because I only know basketball. I have no interest in anything else.
1919 T206 white border Onus Wagner.
That's
PSA.
Cool. Like I said, I only know basketball, but I do know this card. That's really awesome, and I think the safe bet for sure.
Really?
Well, yes. I mean, like he's not going to get injured, and Wemby could. So just from that perspective, yeah.
And actually, that just sold really recently too, February 26. So that's
but in terms of potential future price, obviously the Wemby has, I would say, more potential.
We didn't talk about this. Thanks for bringing that up. I actually think they're not going to get their money back on this for years.
No,
just
I don't
years
think
and
so
years.
either.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I hope this person just has enough money to just let it sit.
Yeah. I think, as Adam used to say, like future pricing.
But it's been future pricing every year. There's future pricing particularly for the rookies, right? We see it again and again, Zion, LaMelo, and lots of others. And they're priced as if they were already Hall of Famers and they have multiple rings. Over and over, it doesn't pan out.
I think this is a very extreme example of that, though. Like 5.1 million is like, who would have predicted that's what the sale was going to be?
No.
Yeah.
But I do think Wemby has a really good shot at being, if not the very best, then certainly up there with the other two.
Yeah. He's just freakish, isn't he? 2018-19 flawless Logoman, Luka Doncic, 1 of 1, 4.7 million.
Wemby, please.
Yeah. And the next one I'm not going to do, but it's another Luka Logoman.
Yep.
1952 Topps Mickey Mantle SGC Mint 9, 4.5 million.
Yeah, again, I'd probably take it the Mickey Mantle just as a safe investment.
Yeah. You're sort of about 50-50 at the moment. All right, let's finish on this one. This is going to be a cool one. 1997-98 Upper Deck game jersey autograph, 11 out of 23. PSA 6 autograph 9. I'll show the card on screen if people are watching at home.
Yeah. I know. I've seen this one. A great card. I don't particularly care about the grades when it comes to this sort of rare stuff. I'd probably take the Jordan, yeah.
All right, final thoughts on this Wemby card.
I wish I had it.
You wish it came out of your pack, yeah?
Yeah. Yes, please. That'd be nice.
Alrighty, so we're going to talk about this one here. This is the LeBron James top chrome super refractor, 1 of 1. It just recently sold on May the 22nd for $1.26 million. I'll take your first thoughts and then we'll segue into the next part of this story.
It's a lot of money. For me, the Wemby is a special card. It's his rookie card. It's the Black Prism. For me, this is more of a normal card, air quotes here for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, that seems like a lot. It's exciting for sure. It seems like a bit much, particularly me not being that familiar with Topps and how many superfractor autographs are there really. I don't know yet.
I actually think people have been frothing for LeBron autographs for a really long time. So I'm not overly shocked that these are the prices that we're seeing. And the same thing would happen if Jordan came back into active product and he was signing again. I think people would lose their minds over this stuff and be going out and spending, a lot more than what we've just, like, if you're getting $1 million for LeBron, you would get 2 for Jordan. I think that's a pretty reasonable thing to say. So, and also too, if you think about it, as collectors, we really have been missing LeBron autographs the last 15 years. So it's kind of a shame that the contracts have panned out like this, and we are going to be still having this situation moving forward with the Panini versus Topps thing. And can I be honest with you, man? I think the way that Topps took over, Panini aren't going to play nice with this. Like, they're going to hold these athletes down for as long as they can. So
absolutely,
I think the biggest victim is going to be for our generation. Like the LeBron of that previous generation, this generation is going to be Luka Doncic. That's what I think is going to happen in that space. We're not going to see any Luka autographs for a really long time.
Yeah, it's interesting. It almost creates kind of different pockets of value or rarity, and then like
it's created scarcity, definitely.
Yeah. I'm not surprised it went for $1 million. I'd be a bit hesitant myself.
Yeah, for sure. I think obviously the person who had the money, but I reckon they were waiting for this to come out, and they were like, "I want this," and they just bid that thing right up. So, the other reason we're talking about this is because a 1 of 1 LeBron autograph was actually hit in Australia. So this is not so much about shouting out a particular break group, but I'm very happy to do it. It's a boxed out breaks. The break is Aiden. He's always been fantastic, good all round guy. So congrats to you, mate, and your group. Not a sponsored feature, by the way. We're just reporting this as news. What we would like to talk about is this card, and it's now going to auction. So I thought what would be interesting to talk about is how much do you think? So if we've just seen this one here sell for 1.26, how much do you think this one here is going to go for, man?
Being first is going to be beneficial for the other one, for sure.
No, being first is really important in the race. Absolutely. Yeah.
I think I'm going to see a drop on this one. And I do like the other one slightly more just aesthetically, but you wouldn't you wouldn't be unhappy if you hit this. And congrats to the guys that hit it. That's an amazing card to see in Australia. And you always hear these things about all the big cards are
US breakers.
Yeah. China.
Backyard
US.
breaks are getting loaded boxes, la 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 la, and then some little
really
guy
good.
picks up a box. Yeah, it's sick, man.
It's fantastic. And I wish them all the best. I really hope they get as close as possible to that million. I don't know. I'd be guessing half, but that's maybe conservative.
Okay. I was thinking 800,000 USD. That would be 750 seems a little bit light considering how hot the hobby is at the moment. I think the timing is amazing. The hobby at the moment, particularly for high-end stuff, people are just going crazy at the moment. And whatever is driving this, whether it's investment groups, whether it's Mr. Wonderful, whether it's Shine just buying up everything, like who knows? But there is something happening, and I don't know what's happening. And actually, I'd love to talk to someone who does know about all this high-end stuff, because like if you look at some of the, really big sales that's happened the last 12 months, it's wild. Yeah.
It is. Yeah, you should definitely try and get someone on here to talk about it. I'm not the right person for that, but there's a lot.
I was hoping you could give me something, man.
Secretly, I've been buying $1 million cards.
Your wife is going to know now, man.
Yeah. Cat's out of the bag.
All right, so this is from Adam Gray. This is just from the last 12 months. So you can see here, 7 million. That's 4, 4, 5. 3, 5, 4, 12, 1.5, 4, 1.3, 16, 1.4, 3, 1.1. Like just ridiculous. And now Wemby at the bottom here at 5.1.
Yeah. Pikachu has had quite the career.
Yes, yeah. He's been the MVP for quite a while.
Yeah.
Closing thoughts on this.
It's great. I love to see it. I'll be following it along and to see what it ends at. That's really cool.
Yeah. Let's not do this to death. Let's just do this 5 minutes in and out. PSA shutdown. What's your key points? What's your takeaways? What are you worried about? What do you think what's your predictions in this space?
It's big news. Like it's news outside of the hobby. And that's pretty interesting to me. Like it's not a niche thing anymore. This touches other areas than just collectors, and it comes from the high end, a lot of it, but it's such big business now. There's so much money in there, and that's why there's articles in the New York Times, Sports Illustrated. It's a big deal. I'm not worried. It won't really affect me much because I haven't graded a card in like more than 6 years, and even then it was a handful. Yeah. So the sentiment has changed a little bit against PSA in the last year or so as they kind of became the number one and the big player. And
can you flesh that out? What do you mean by that?
The criticism from the community seemed to sharpen over the last year or so. There's more scrutiny on quality, business practices, turnaround times. They were the one, and everyone went there. And when they didn't deliver, I guess I should say they didn't deliver. People weren't all that happy about it, and there's a bit of a backlash towards the way that they operated. Or it was also about them saying one thing and not following through, like in terms of turnaround times. And I guess maybe they're trying to get on top of that now. That's one way to look at it.
So what do you think people's biggest complaint is with PSA? Turnaround time?
Turnaround times, people who weren't familiar with them not loving the upcharge. Because if I understand it correctly, basically you send a card to them and it grades a 10, you pay more than if it grades a 9. That's right, isn't it?
When you submit the card, there's different price points that you submit it into. And with that is the price of the card and also the speed that the card comes back to you. So if you put it in at the lowest level covers you up to like $500 before you get upcharged, but it gives you a 10, and then they decide it's actually a $2,000 card.
Yeah.
Then you would then pay that upcharge fee.
Yeah. And
so sometimes people will strategically put in cards in that lower thing to save money and then just pay the upcharge on the back end. And they're mentally prepared for that. But then if you aren't mentally prepared for that, and I think that's the collectors that you're just kind of like touching on then.
Yeah.
That can create a lot of frustration for people because people have even used the words like extortion, like PSA won't release your cards until you've paid the upcharge. So
because you haven't put it in the right level, or
correct.
You didn't expect it to be at that level.
Correct. Yeah. And it can be either of those things. And actually PSA don't delineate either. They don't care. They're just like, you've done this, it's worth this. This is the up. They don't say you've done the wrong thing or anything like that.
Yeah. No, they just, here's the bill.
Yeah, and pay us their money.
Yeah. Essentially, depending on what they graded at, the value increases, right? So if it's a 10, they get more money.
Yes, correct.
I've probably said this before, and I'll
in some situations they get more money, correct? Yeah.
Right. Well, if that's the case, like this sort of business practice, I think the mafia would be so proud. I don't know if I said that last time, but honestly, that is like
that's clippable.
Yes. That is, setting it up like that is unbelievable.
It's genius.
I have your card.
It's excellent. Yeah.
It's a 10. Look, you give me more money. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Look, in terms of, go ahead.
I think people's complaint is wait time, man.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the complaint is you've sent $100 worth of cards off for $1,000, and now it's sitting there for 12 months. And my personal complaint is like they've been saying, oh, it's 4 to 5 months, 5 to 6 months, 6 to 7 months. But you talk to people who've given them cards, it's 11 to 12 months, it's 10 to 11 months. And I think that's the part that I've found the most probably disingenuous. And so when they did the shutdown, I wasn't shocked. I was surprised, but at the same time, I wasn't like, oh my God, like I can't believe this is happening. Like we kind of knew this was happening. The part that we didn't know is how many cards they've got in their in their backlog. So now they're saying there's 10 million, approaching 10 million cards. And so, if you calculate that out with how many that they grade a day, and they'll still be taking submissions on the higher level. So they're pausing value bulk, value plus, and value max. They're leaving regular, express, super express, and walkthrough. And so it's not like no cards will be going through. So they're not going to get through that 10 million immediately. And they've said that they're not setting a deadline to when they'll reopen these cheaper tiers. It's when they get to 5 million cards, then they'll reopen these cheaper tiers. But my gut feeling is that these cheaper ones aren't going to come back.
Right.
Because it doesn't actually make sense to me that they continue offering these cheaper services when all it's doing is putting a whole lot of pressure on their physical infrastructure. And they've said that they've invested money into opening up more facilities, and that's fantastic. But I think the other thing it puts a lot of pressure on people too is that sort of pressure to work fast all of the time, and then also the quality control part of it, and then the staffing too. Like I think if you're doing that many cards, I really struggle to get my head around how you can maintain quality control at that clip. Yeah. So like, honestly, if you're asking me, I'm quite happy to see these lower end price points be removed, because I suspect a lot of the cards that are sent into that are actually lower end cards anyway. And so I get it. Like people are sending them in, they get a 10 and they make some money. And there is that component of that. And if you want to talk about someone going on a rant, not even a rant, actually explaining their dislike for PSA, listen to the episode I had with Comron from GTI, because he explained it so beautifully. And I'm not even going to try and like tap into what he said, but basically they've made people a lot of money. And I think those lower tiers is where you're more likely to make your money. And so what is more logical for me to happen now is they get rid of those lower tiers, which then pushes people into using BGS and SGC, which they also coincidentally own. So from a financial standpoint, they're not losing income to other grading companies.
Yes.
And I've actually said this for a long time, and this is actually just like cementing it in my head now. Send off your higher stuff to PSA, send off your mid stuff to BGS, and send off that super cheap. You just want to grade it and get it out and flip it out, send it off to SGC. They'll give you a 9 or a 10, and then you get it back in 2 or 3 weeks, and then you're on your merry way. Like I kind of feel like that's the future of grading. And for me, the other trickle down out of this too is like other grading companies. So for example, Tag, I did an interview with the guys from Australia and TCG grading. These guys get a look in. So even Tag is now under pressure because they've closed down their express grading because they're at capacity. And I suspect that's because people don't want to wait 12 months to send their cards to PSA. And people are like starting to recognize Tag as a good alternative. And maybe people don't want to use BGS anymore because it's owned by the same investment group that owns PSA.
Yep. I definitely think there will be people who will try someone else just to see how it goes. Yeah.
This has to be a result of PSA shutting down. That has to be part of the trickle down. Yeah.
Yep. I think that's well said.
Thank you.
I think there's some people worried that there's a bubble and it'll burst. I don't think so. Maybe there are some new people in the hobby that is going to see the regular off-season price drop. Maybe that'll come as a surprise to them, and there'll actually be a little bit of a sell-off, and it'll drop further in the off-season than it might normally do because we have some new money in the hobby. Or Wemby Mania just kind of keeps it, going all the way through off-season. I don't know.
I think there's always a dip down in the off-season. So I think it's not if or when, it's like, it's coming, right?
It happens all the time. I just wonder if this time there will be new people who are like, oh, what's happening? I need to get out of this.
Wemby is definitely in a bubble. Look, actually, I feel like NBA at the moment is not really in a bubble. I think, not that I'm a massive TCG guy, but if I'm worried about a bubble, I think TCG is like, let's just hold that TCG thought for 1 second. I just want to quickly round this out. Collectors Club, if you're a member of PSA Collectors Club, which entitles you to use their lower end submission thing, like a paid subscription, they've actually guaranteed that once they reopen, the membership that you've paid for will be reinstated and reactivated. So you're not going to be losing out on anything. So that's good that PSA have done that. And the other thing I just want to add to this too is that it's not really going to affect NBA people that much, because look at who's actually grading cards at the moment. So in the last week, 300,000 cards for TCG, 45,000 was baseball, and 35,000 was basketball. Who's actually going to be affected by this? Pokemon is going to be the one.
That's a good point. Yeah.
That's it, man. That's everything we wanted to talk about. Is there anything else you wanted to get off your chest and tell the people about?
Tell me, what have you been doing with your collecting? What's the latest? What have you picked up, or what are you focusing on?
I love Eminence.
Oh, yes.
The problem with Eminence is the price.
I agree.
However, if you get on bids and you are patient and you just sort of sit there, and I pick this up.
Eventually one come through. That's nice.
And so this is my take on Eminence. It's so high end that it's unaffordable for basically everybody. I think they did Eminence so well. It's the best product that's out there. It's better than Flawless. It's better than NT. It's like, okay, I mean, sneaker spotlights from Noir are amazing, but I would sort of put them into the same sentence, right? The problem with Eminence is like, it's not that collectible because like people don't know what the boxes are. How many people do you know that's gone into an Eminence break? The buy-in is like $3,000 a spot. It's ridiculous. In a really weird way, that actually affects the secondary market because
of course it does.
Either they go for too high or they sort of go like almost for too low. Like imagine
there
spending
isn't a market.
Imagine spending $30,000 on a box, and this is one of the cards you got out of it, and it just sold to me for $200, $300 Aussie. It's ridiculous. So yeah, I really like getting on bids for these, and I'm just trying to patiently pick them up. This is the second one I've ever picked up. So this is kind of a big deal for me. This just happened this week. It has arrived. I just haven't opened it. I just want to sit down.
That's good. I was going to ask.
have a whiskey, and I want to enjoy the moment, but I just haven't quite got there yet. So yeah.
That's nice. That's a good idea. I like that. Not sure you'll have more competition from me, but it's a good point. Like there's these high-end cards of, the slightly lower tier players, that are pretty much achievable.
This guy's the two-time champion. This is game-worn memorabilia. You could say 2 or 3 color patch. I'll take you either way on that one. On-card order. You know what I mean? Everything about these cards is done
very nice.
So, and I think obviously the other thing too is I'm just trying to make content. So I think in some ways my collecting is doing a podcast. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah,
it's the hobby as far as I'm concerned. I'm still in the hobby. It's maybe I'm just doing it a little bit differently, and I'm buying less cards at the moment. I think that's the biggest thing I'm sort of trying to take away from, and I'm trying to sell 2 cards and buy 1 card. I'm in that sort of phase of paring down a little bit, and I'm actually just having a good time at the moment. I'm actually really enjoying the hobby. I think some stuff is really overpriced, and I'm not going into it, but I think singles at the moment for me is really affordable and really accessible. Really enjoying myself at the moment, actually.
That seems like a good place to be.
Yeah. All right. I think we should just thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for coming on.
Pleasure. Thank you.
And for all our listeners out there at home, take care of yourselves. We'll catch you on the next episode.
Thank you. Thanks, Russ. Thanks for having me. Thanks, everyone.
That was kick-ass, man. You did an awesome job.